Madam President, ladies and gentlemen, I know that to many of you, my very presence here is offensive. Which is the point that I seek to make. I will actually be the first speaker here this evening not to use the F word or any other stupid coarsenesses of that kind, which I greatly disapprove of. No, I do. I think that they are a genuine insult to people who find these things disturbing and offensive and unpleasant, and I don't think that anyone speaking in a place such as this should foul the air with them, and I think people should restrain themselves from that. They should restrain themselves from personal rudeness. They should restrain themselves from deliberately setting out to annoy people because of things in which they sincerely believe. These are matters of conscience, morals, and good behavior, and actually have very little to do with what I really wish to say here. Now, there has been, for some time, on the internet, a Facebook page entitled Peter Hitchens Must Die. Broadly, I agree with this. It's a statement of fact. Alas, there are some people who actually take it as a statement of purpose, and indeed not all very. That it is currently funny, but will it always be so? And not very long ago on Twitter, where the electronic mob is not very keen on me, a gentleman regretted, a citizen of Oxford regretted that he had not kicked me off my bicycle when I was riding across Magdalen Bridge. And it was sincere, and he aimed and intended to please his audience by saying so. I often describe myself on Twitter as the hated Peter Hitchens, because I am. But why is this? And my personal characteristics, such as they are largely unknown to the people who hate me. I don't know them. They don't know me. They hate me because of what I think, because of what I say, and because of what I write. And that is what is so important about this debate. In this dispute, what the offensive person has actually said is seldom very important. It is what the offended person believes him to have said that counts. And this is the process into which we are rapidly entering as a society. We're moving towards a strained dictatorship of rage, where any approved group or any approved person's fury is sufficient to trigger calls for the denial of platforms, for the ostracism of one kind or another of that person, in effect, for the silencing of those people and the suppression of their opinions. This is a sinister development. It's even begun to affect figures such as Germaine Greer, one of the founders of the modern left and of the liberal world in which we live, who by allegedly denying the existence of transphobia found herself accused of hate speech and urged, not just urged, but informed that efforts would be made to keep her away from the city of Cambridge in future. Why is this so fantastically sinister, this attitude towards people and expressions of opinion? Because it is irrational, even medieval, though that is probably a libel on the Middle Ages, which in places such as this allowed free thought to flourish rather more than it flourishes here today. For instance, when I say that I do not believe in such concepts as dyslexia, which doesn't exist, nor in ADHD, which is a figment of the imagination, or in addiction, another fantasy of the modern world. People immediately respond by writing to me, by sending me emails, or by saying on Twitter that I have insulted them. I've never met these people. I don't even know what they look like. I don't know their names, but they believe that I have insulted them. Believe me, I have in my time been insulted by experts, and I have got quite used to giving back as good as I get. And if I insulted you, you'd know all about it, and you stay insulted at least for the rest of the evening. I have not in any way insulted these people. I have never myself been offended or insulted by the expression of opinion with which I disagree, and I do not see why they should be. The very idea that it should be possible to claim to have been personally offended by the expression of opinion is a dangerous absurdity and a danger to a free society. We now have many categories of people, and pinko-grey male middle-class heterosexuals are not among them, who are entitled by some system which is never quite clear to be offended or insulted by any disagreement with their views, and to follow their offence and insult by suppressing that view and by trying with a great deal of self-righteousness to prevent it from being expressed, by, for instance, as happened in this city quite recently, preventing the holding of meetings at which opinions with which they disagree were going to be expressed by people of whom they disapproved. The person who is disapproved of is then classified with a pathology. So he's described as suffering from some sort of phobia. He is then cast into the outer darkness amid wailing and gnashing of teeth, never again permitted to speak in this or that place, and driven increasingly out of public life. This is straightforwardly censorship. In the hands of an unpleasant, semi-literate and ill-educated mob, it is very, very disagreeable to watch. In the hands of supposedly educated students, it is alarming and absurd. But in the hands of the state, which increasingly also resorts to the idea that beliefs described by itself as extremism, or indeed as glorifying terrorism, can be the subject of legal sanction, it is terrifying. And it is that terror that I wish to draw to your attention. This idea that any opinion legitimately expressed can be dismissed on the grounds that it is an offence or an insult to an individual is the foundation of a new and terrifying censorship. And censorship is the foundation of tyranny. And if you don't want censorship or tyranny, then you must support this motion. Thank you very much.